14,197 feet above water on foot. Before we get to those fun facts, just some basic facts, I was born on September 20th, 1994 at Piedmont Hospital. I've lived on the same street my entire life. We moved once, but we just moved down the street. We couldn't get away from our neighborhood. We love it so much. My mom, his name is Margaret, and she grew up in Decatur. And my dad grew up in Atlanta. His name is Joe. My mom is a stay-at-home mom, and my dad is the vice president of Wells Fargo Insurance Services. My older sister, Tillman, is 2 years older than me. She is super sweet and very, very smart. She's currently attending Wake Forest as a freshman. My directly younger than me sister, Frances, is 2 years younger than me, but we're 1 year apart in school. She's super funny and very sporty, and those of you who know her, she can make anyone laugh. And then my youngest sister, who is 6 years younger than me, is Cha-Cha, and she is a mess, but she is so funny. I was born and raised in Atlanta. When we were growing up, we were living in very tight quarters. We lived in the same house that my parents bought right after they got married. And we didn't have a TV, we didn't have a computer. I didn't really know anything about pop culture or anything like that. And my parents really encouraged us to get outside. And we had an amazing backyard with swings and woods and a garden and trampolines, and it was so fun. And I feel like that's really when we all learned about playing together and having fun with what you have. And that really, and all of my sisters, that really sparked a sense of adventure in us. And even though the exploration games we grew out of, especially when we moved, the love of adventure never really died. I joined the 2% of the world that has crossed the equator when I was 3K. Our best family friends, Our best family friends moved to New Zealand, and I could not stand 2 years of not seeing them, so we went and visited them. And even though I was really young, I still remember so much of that trip because it had such an impact on my life. Having that really opening my worldview from my street and my school to all the way across the world to New Zealand. It was beautiful, and I would love to be back there one day. A couple of years later, actually more than a couple, I guess that was in pre-K, and then I think in 3rd grade we went to Colorado to Trail West, a Young Life family camp for a week. That's where I climbed Mount Princeton. It's a 14,000 foot mountain, and that's kind of uncommon for young girls to be hiking up a 14,000 foot mountain when you're in 3rd grade. It was an amazing experience, and I loved, it was totally worth it because at the top of the mountain you could see everything. And I loved that I felt like I accomplished something really at a young age. A year later, I had the opportunity to go to Panama for a missions trip. And I knew I loved the Lord, and I knew I loved traveling, and that was the perfect marriage of the both of them, because that really opened my eyes from a worldview standpoint. I saw the poorest people I've ever seen walking 3 miles for a cup of water, little kids in the hot sun, and that really kind of sparked a flame in my life of really passionately living for Christ. Not just going to church every Sunday, living, really, I learned how to help others, and God really blessed that. And then a culture shock a year later, had the opportunity to go to France with 20 of my closest friends for our 5th grade field trip, I guess you could say that. And I had never been to a place before that had such a rich culture between the people, the places, and just the lifestyle that is Southern France, and even in Paris, it's very laid back. And I feel like I learned from that trip how to just relax and not let life pass me by, but to get active and have fun wherever I am. 2 years later, I had the same opportunity, except this animal except for I went to Ecuador with Samaritan's Purse, the shoe boxes that you probably make with your church or you make them here. I got an opportunity to deliver those to people living in the poorest conditions. Our bus kept getting stuck on the muddy roads because it was just there's chickens in the roads and dirt and mud and people, and it was so amazing to see that the little girls and boys would get these boxes, they would open them up and they would close them and hold them because that was all they had ever gotten and that's all they ever had. And I just remember like one girl eating toothpaste because she had never had something so sweet. She didn't know what toothpaste was. It was sweet and it tasted like mint and it came out of a bottle and it was Christmas. And I remember showing one girl how to play with a yo-yo, and they had never even seen, showed people how to write with pencils, and it was just totally eye-opening because I realized what God has blessed me with is no mistake. He calls us all, not only me but all of us, to go out and to serve the community with the means that He's given us. Then some time passes, and my father encouraged all of us to get our scuba diving licenses. He got his in college. My mom had gotten hers right before they got married so they could scuba dive in the Caribbean on their honeymoon. And this really, to me, was exploration on a brand new level. I had already, explored New Zealand, Colorado, third world countries, and this kind of began a new chapter. And the more I dove, the more I loved it. And just very visual, calm sport, and you can just explore. That's all you do. And that was just right up my alley. We had a great trip, and it was Mary Charles, my youngest sister, still doesn't have her license because she's too young. It's illegal, unfortunately. But then last spring break, I went back to Colorado for a brand new sport. I went skiing, and though it is not my thing yet, I hope that we're coming back this spring break, and I hope that I'll get the hang of it. But that was a really fun trip because we always went south. We always dove and hiked and swam. I'd never seen that much snow in my life before. I didn't even we flew flying in. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, what is it like? Because in Atlanta, you just don't get snow. Maybe 3 inches. Last year we got 6 inches. It was amazing. And then this past summer we went diving. I went diving for the third time. I had gone to the Keys, but that was just a kind of check out that thing. And it was the best diving I've ever been. The best diving my dad's ever been. He's dove everywhere. Two of my favorite dives. One was called Trinity Caves, and it was just like a coral jungle gym for divers. They had all these cutouts in the rock you could swim through and lay on your back, and you could see all of the little minuscule life that we would have never seen, and yet God made for our enjoyment. And I just love that when God created the world, He had scuba diving in mind. And the other dive was a ship that was sunk in January, but was used to rescue submarines. It's called the Kittiwake. And when you dive, you get this little chip. It's like a little commemorative chip. And I was the 5,408th person to ever dive there. And it was really neat because it was sunk just for divers. And it was really cool. You just got in the line and you could see where the sailors ate, where they brushed their teeth. They had mirrors on the wall, and you're diving. You could see yourself diving. It was a totally bizarre experience. And just the life that was down there was just so cool to think that it's been there all along, and it's just waiting for us to go explore it. And there's this quote by Helen Keller that I love. It says, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. And whether that be exploring the world or exploring your neighborhood, we're called to serve, and we're called to get out there.